Before we get into the gacha system, I'd like to note one other thing about the whole content issue. So, there's this thing in Honky Impact called the Abyss, which Genshin Impact has the Spiral Abyss. But there's two other pieces of content that Genshin is missing. You have Memorial Arena, which, I'm going to be honest, should have been added a little bit ago in Genshin Impact, and the Elysian Realm. Which, the Elysian Realm was basically this little... Before it was ran as events, where basically you would go through a series of stages with one unit and a bunch of support units, right? You could have two support units at a time and then one main unit that you were using. Now, you couldn't switch this main unit out. But basically, it was kind of like a trial, in a way, right? Where basically you could take one single unit and run through a series of stages and see if you can make it to the end. That is basically what Elysian Realm is, and that's exactly what that was. If you had a time stage and you don't finish it within a certain amount of time, you basically had to restart the entire thing. Right? And the thing is we kind of have something like that in Genshin Impact. For any of you that play Arknights, you would know something called contingency contracts. The hypostasis events and contingency contracts worked almost entirely the same. You would basically put a bunch of units together, set it to the highest difficulty, and try a bunch of strategies to see if you can beat it. Right? Same thing with the hypostasis event. It's like, which teams can actually beat all of these units given all of these modifiers? Right? Now, my thing is that they should bring that back, or even better, make another kind of Abyss-style domain, but basically you're only allowed, like 1 to 2 main units, and then everybody else is basically support. And by support, I mean you basically click on them, they throw out their ulti, and then that's all they can do. Right? And then their ulti takes maybe double the amount of the original time to charge. And there you go. Right? And the way Elysian Realm works is basically you get given buff cards at the end of every stage, and they're randomized. Right? So every run isn't necessarily going to be the same all the time. Some runs might be really bad just because of the buff cards. Some runs might be really good where you just cheese through the entire thing. Right? And then you still have your standard difficulty modifiers to give the enemies buffs, increase their health and all that stuff too. Right? And basically, you're using the units that you already have. Right? And Elysian Realm is kind of one of those ways to essentially play the game as much as you want. The same thing goes for the Abyss in Honky Impact. You see, Spiral Abyss, one of the major issues with it is that it doesn't have a difficulty scaling. Right? I would say the Spiral Abyss in Genshin Impact works more like Memorial Arena in Honky Impact. But see, even the Memorial Arena, you could technically sit there and play it all day long because you can sit there and try to get the best score possible. Right? Because the better the score you get, the higher up the leaderboards you are, and slightly more rewards that you get. Right? Same thing goes for the Abyss. The further up the ladder you can move to means that you possibly get put into the next little arena, right? So maybe moving from Agony 3 to Red Lotus, therefore yielding you more crystals if you can clear all the stages in Red Lotus. Regardless if you can, get past the players or not, right? And while that is technically PvP, it's not really the same thing as PvP in other games, because you're not being held down the same way you do in other gacha games, right? If players are AFKing, they're going to be thrown all the way back down to the forgiven area, or unforgiven area, whichever it's called. Basically like the first little set, and everybody can pass them. That's how budget players are managing to get to agony, right? Kind of like me. I'm in agony because I'm not being held down by other players, right? They can easily add something like this to Genshin Impact as well, because guess what? This actually affects, because you have difficulty scaling, you actually get content that's situated around your difficulty. I got put into Red Lotus a week or two ago, and guess what? That crap was pretty difficult. I mean, if I wasn't playing at my best, I wouldn't be able to clear any of them stages, because that's just how long it took to kill the enemies, right? Compared to Agony, where it takes me like a minute and a half to kill everything because I just nuke them all. Right, but again, I'm still at my same difficulty. I'm not clearing the stage in 2 seconds like I do in Memorial Arena. Memorial Arena takes me like 5 minutes. Maybe besides the new triple S rank that they added for the first boss in the list. So my thing is basically kind of like, where is this in Genshin? Like, I feel like this should have just been, kind of like how Spiral Abyss was made pretty much on launch. I feel like that's how Memorial Arena, and maybe not Elysian Realm, because Elysian Realm wasn't out then, but at least Memorial Arena, where you can, even if you can't fight the weekly bosses, switch out the daily bosses, and put them on a 5-minute timer to see how fast you can clear them out, and give people another source of Primo Gems. And, the last thing before we move on to the next part, right, is the other reason why I want to see Memorial Arena and Elysian Realm into Genshin Impact is because you figure that is more permanent content that wouldn't require resin, right? In Honky Impact, the Abyss, Memorial Arena, and the Elysian Realm do not require stamina. Same thing goes for the Spiral Abyss in Genshin Impact. You don't need resin to run through it. So, in terms of content issues, that would kind of fix the content issues a little bit. Now, my suggestion would be to make Spiral Abyss reset every week, have Memorial Arena and Elysian Realm reset every week, for Primo Gem rewards and all that. And overall, just have both, all these systems in both games. Simple as that. However, there is a difficulty issue that I need to address in the next little part here.
What have you done? I saw that! Those poor ducks! It was for the pigeons. Go away! I never want to see you again! Ever! I'm telling Mommy!